Good evening, everyone. Joko here, and I'm actually excited to bring you this essay that was written by Precious Ividon. Now, why am I excited? Oh, we have the didgeridoo to build some excitement. It's the writing from someone outside of the normal group of people I read. Um, Part of the IELTS Tips and Tricks group. You actually now, I read more of your essays than I do of my own students here in real life. I am an English teacher, and right now I don't have any IELTS classes, so this is it. And this is a problem. The main issue with this essay is one that I've been working on with, when I've noticed that a person is able to express a high level of English in some ways, but the training, the learning, the very valuable learning that they've received gets in the way of expressing themselves in such a way that their ideas are clear and well supported. You'll see what I mean. Okay, now this is the question. It's a causes and solutions essay. It seems like you more often see, a situation presented, and then they will ask, what problems are created by this situation, and then solutions. Here's causes, a little different. Now, let's take a closer look. Okay. Well, I know this was how it was written or copied onto IELTStemple.blogspot.com. That's my website. And I was running still am, I guess, a free assessment promotion. Nominally, I am a essay correction service by name, but I wasn't getting much traffic because of Facebook and their blocking of my site, but we're not here to talk about that. But what I noticed here was, okay, visited by foreign tourist. Well, it should be plural. Well, there was some copying errors, and so when I get a question, I analyze it in two ways. I analyze it like you should, which is what are they asking, and also I look at where the question came from. And here's the problems. And look at this. This is from IELTSbuddy.com. I trust that site, and that's rather official looking formatting. And you can see where the differences are mostly visited by tourists rather than local people. Okay, foreign tourists, that's a very big difference. There's lots of places in many countries where lots of tourists go to museums and historical sites, but they're from out of town. They're inside the country, but they're not local people. And this is different. Okay, why is this? Why do you think it happens? No big difference there. But what can be done to attract local visitors? What can be done to encourage local visitors? Yeah, okay, that part is the same. So I don't know what the real question was, but we have to deal with the question that we have. All right, let's look at our answer. Oh, before we do that, here the task response. Does what she is writing address the question? And does it qualify as fully supported, or is it supportive of the main ideas? Coherence, does it make sense? Cohesion, is it well connected and flows? Lexical resources, vocab, and grammar, range and accuracy. All right, let's have a listen.
There has been an increase in the number of holidaymakers visiting museums and ancient sites in recent times, the majority of whom are foreigners. This essay will elucidate why natives rarely visit these places of attraction and suggest measures to halt this trend. To begin with, most of these sites require access fees which are out of the reach of the locals who rather use their meager resources for life's essentials like food. For instance, the Lagos Museum has an admission fee of 5,000 naira, an amount that a local trader would rather use to feed his family. Secondly, the people around these sites perceive going into ancient buildings as a waste of time, as it does not add to them financially. They rather engage in a worthwhile business than lazy around some old buildings staring at antiques.
Yeah, lay around some old building staring at antiques. Oh, ain't got time for that. No one's got time for that. Okay, different tone that I'm used to. So let's take a closer look at the introduction. Okay? So, all right, let's go through these points one by one. All right, there has been an increase. Well, that's great. We're starting it off with a present perfect tense and passive. Okay, great. But has there been an increase? Well, I don't see that. It doesn't say it anywhere here. That's not part of the question. You're not addressing the question with that statement. In the number of holidaymakers happens to be one word. It's valid. It's a good choice, but it's one word. Holidaymakers. And ancient sites. Ancient sites. Ancient. No. Historical sites and ancient sites are not the same thing. Ancient means very, very old. Like 1,000 years. There's no point where you say now it's ancient. But that's not what the question is talking about. I'm sure there's historical sites, could be famous buildings from 50, 100 years ago, from the independence of your country, or something, maybe a local leader lived there or something like that. It's not ancient. Okay, article error. Holidaymakers visiting museums and ancient sites in recent times. Does it say that? No, it doesn't. Am I confused? No. Why? Because I've read so many essays where this sentence has been used, just like this. There has been an increase in X in recent times. People are talking more and more about this. Well, they don't say that. The topic of insert topic here has become more of an issue lately. It's using a sentence that could go into any topic, any essay could start this way. And then, the examiners know this. You can't trick them. There's no fooling them. They know. Okay, so the only reason you said this, it's not because there has been an increase in recent times. No, we don't know that. Doesn't say it. The only reason you're writing this is because you're following a set series of statements, a template. And nothing is worse for someone who has a high level of English than to follow a template. Bad idea. Okay, we have an article error. Now, the majority. And again, this is elucidate. Well, elucidate. Lucid means very bright and visible and fully explained. You don't have time to elucidate in an IELTS essay. Okay. Well, and particularly elucidate why. You can elucidate the reason, but elucidate why. Why don't you just say, "We'll explain." Natives. Here's a vocabulary word for you. Probably don't know it. Anachronistic. An anachronism is something that's out of its time. We don't use the word natives to talk about people anymore. That's a word they used in the colonial times. Places of attraction. Nope, not good collocation. Visit these attractions. Wait a minute. What can be done to attract local visitors to these sites? Oh, we want to halt this trend. So this trend means stopping the foreigners from coming to your museums. Oh my. Oh, we don't want that, do we? Yankee, go home. Okay, body paragraph 1. To begin with, again, I know why you're using it because you've been taught. This is how to begin BP1. To begin with, fits if the last thing you had said in your introduction was this discussion, this will this essay will look at ways to increase people coming from local areas to the museums, as well as discuss the several reasons why they're not coming now, or why at the moment it's mainly foreigners. Okay? But you said you're going to say that, and then to begin with. All right, most of these sites. How about many? You can't say most, that's saying more than half. And I don't agree that you should use these in a new paragraph. I see a new paragraph as resetting, beginning all referencing over again. This is my opinion. And so you shouldn't use pronouns in the first sentence of a paragraph. Require access fees. Well, what kind of access fees? I know what you're going to say next, so you should have said expensive fees. They're out of the reach. Good. It's out of reach, not the reach. Out of the reach would be like physically, they can't, they can't hold their hands up high enough. The locals. Which locals? I don't like the is being used here before a plural noun when, well, you do have who, but anyway, I don't think it should go there. Who would rather. Okay, it's an unreal situation. We're hypothesizing. Who would rather use their meager resources? Oh, by the way, underline means good. I like it for life's essentials like food. Oh, absolutely good. Now, some people say you should use such as food. It's more formal. It's okay. For instance, use would. Oh, yes. Lagos, capital of Nigeria, I believe. Museum. Well, it's the Lagos Museum. Capitalize it. Has an admission fee of 5,000. Spelling mistake. Naira. Oh, how much is a naira? I don't know. I don't know what that means. Remember, your audience is international. And if you quote local currencies, you should always include US dollars. So I had to look it up. And an examiner won't do that. And I saw it was about, what, $12, $13? Yeah, that's pretty expensive for a museum in a developing country. Okay, an amount that local trader, oh, why just traders? Well, don't other people, aren't we attracting a lot of people? And feed his family. Oh, that's good vocabulary, good collocation, but, well, an amount that a local person would find, an amount that represents a day's wages for an average worker. That puts it in perspective. Okay, secondly, people around these sites, it's like one block away, not very good paraphrasing. Perceive, good vocabulary. Going into, again, not ancient, all right, a waste of time as it does not, wait, as it does not add to them. You can't add to them. I mean, you add to someone. No, you have to add to something that can be added to, as it does not benefit them financially, as it does not add to their bank account. Is that the only reason they don't go? They would rather engage. Now, I noticed here at this point, look, rather engage, rather use. Okay, rather use, rather engage. Rather's good. Prefer, mix up the vocabulary a bit. Okay, in a worthwhile business. In this instance, business is being used as like an activity. It's uncountable in this sense, so you would not use a. Worthwhile business. Okay, they would rather engage in a worthwhile business. compared to, would rather engage in worthwhile business. And don't use than here. Than is used with comparative adjectives. Than, ooh, this would have been really good if you had used it correctly. The word is laze. Laze, L-A-Z-E. It's a verb, and it's a very good verb. I don't see it very often. That would be uncommon vocabulary. Laze around some old buildings. Spelling error. Starring is what movie stars do. It's one R at antiques. Good. I like it. However, by ending it that way, nowhere in this paragraph do you address the question. Okay? You give two good reasons why people don't go to museums, why locals don't go, and you've supported them pretty well. It's very good. But you have to sort of dot the I's and cross the T's, as we say. As an idiom, it means take care of the little details, like finish it with referring back to the topic. Okay. These are two of many reasons why locals tend to avoid museums or historical buildings and museums. Connect it, mention it directly. Here are reasons why they don't. But all in all, good paragraph. Okay, BP2. And conclusion. Let's have a listen.
However, a lot can be done to encourage the locals to patronize these sites. First and foremost, museums and historical sites should be accessed at no cost, and if possible, incentives should be given to visitors to encourage more people to visit.
She's got a great speaking voice. I love her.
For example, the Edo State Museum holds a raffle draw every year for visitors to win prizes. This has greatly increased the number of locals using this facility. In addition, the indigenes should be enlightened on the importance of these sites. They should be made to see their culture in a different light by visiting these ancient structures. To sum up, locals should be encouraged to visit tourist sites instead of leaving it to foreigners. These sites should be free to access, as entrance fees discourage patronage from natives. Also, the importance of these sites should be communicated to them, as most of them are ignorant of the purpose of such buildings.
Okay. Interesting. I like it. Okay, and so let's break it down. Even native English speakers make this mistake a lot. A lot is two words. Same article error as before. Paragraphs reset the pronouns, and sites. I've seen the word sites many times already. Okay. Oh yeah, 8 times in the whole essay. First and foremost, once again, the only reason you are using this connector is because, and I don't know which website it is. Is it IELTS Gareth? Is it Liz? Is it who is telling you to follow this strict structure and use things like first and foremost? Do you understand what that means? First and foremost means most important. The most. Well, why say that? Because you're putting extra work on yourself. Now you have to, if you're stating it, you have to support it. How about, one of these reasons is, and, all right, should be accessed, be accessed, be accessible at no cost. Hey, that's good collocation, good vocabulary. And wait a minute, at no cost for locals. You forgot to mention that part. And wait a minute, I thought it was first. If something is foremost, it needs to be singular. Foremost, one. You can't be first and foremost and mention a bunch of things. You understand? Foremost means the one most important thing. So don't show two things. Incentive given visitors like me. Okay, and State Museum should be capitalized A raffle draw. How about just holds a raffle? Draw is what they do at a raffle, so you don't need to say it, to win prizes. Such as what? Okay, and used, locals use the facility, use the museum for what? Indigenes. Once again, an anachronistic word. In ancient time, not ancient times, 100 years ago, English-speaking people would come into your country and call you indigenes, indigenous, the people who lived there before the English people came. And now we come in and tell you you have to take this IELTS test. Has it gotten much better? I don't know. Enlightened. Well, enlightened is a stronger word than you need. Now wait a minute. They should be made. Well, let's get to that in a second, but what it means. But look, can be done. And here it wasn't. You didn't mean to say accessible. You meant to say accessed, as this is a passive construction. All right. Oh, yeah, that's active. That's active. Should be enlightened. Be made. You've got a lot. You use the passive far too often. Right? Well, why do you use the passive here? Who's going to make them? That's an important part of the idea, and the idea is pretty hardcore. Is very fascistic. You will see the light of your culture. Will make you. You must go to the museum. That would, yeah, okay. That would certainly attract. No, it doesn't say attract, not force. You may need to see their culture. All right. In a different light by visiting these ancient structures. And we've gone over why it's not ancient structures. Forced them to go. Museums aren't ancient. All right, to sum up. Why did I know that you were going to end with to sum up? Oh, wait a minute. Oh, shit. Excuse me. Oh, did I not? I said, oh, okay. Let's go back. All right, so ignore the bullet points. I'll just have to do it manually. All right, should be encouraged to visit tourist sites instead of leaving it to the foreigners. Why? Here's another problem. Remember, in a causes solutions essay, you are not being asked for your opinion. You are not being asked what should we, except for the second part. But I'm thinking that you feel that this is a very bad thing, or it's not asking you that. Okay. Should be encouraged. Why should they be? Would be encouraged. It would be better. Or, no. Sites should be freely accessible, free to access. As entrance fees of any kind, discouragement, patronage is good by natives. I'm also not a big fan of starting a sentence with also. I think it's okay in casual, everyday writing, but in academic writing, they would look at that poorly, and particularly as the last sentence. Also is adding an extra point, and you don't want to do that in the last minute. Oh my God, 25 minutes. Okay, wait a minute. Most of them are ignorant. You never said that before. Ignorant is a harsh word. I don't think you should be saying that about people. Okay, there's the site in total, 291 words, pretty good. And then this tells you how 9 times you use the word sites. Should 7 times. All right, there I am. Let me tell you something here. Okay, and here's your essay as a whole. And this is my main point for you today, precious. Okay. These words are in your essay, but they're not yours. They're not your words. You're using them because you're following a plan that someone suggested that you use. Okay, I think that's very good advice for someone who is a 6.0 naturally. By some of the language and structures that you use, I can tell that you're better than that. You're better than a begin with, however, sum up. You begin with a for instance, for example. Look at that. For instance, for example. Secondly, in addition. Secondly, in addition. You don't need these. You could come up with an essay that doesn't use anything like this. In fact, I would challenge you to create your next essay without any of these phrases. Okay? I'm not saying you shouldn't use cohesive devices, but use the ones that you think fit, not the ones that you've been told to put in there. All right, after 26 minutes, I suppose you want some band scores. All right, you misunderstood the question a bit. So that doesn't help how we're starting off in task response. Here you have 2 points, and they're both well supported. They are. They're very well supported. Here, this one, the first one, is well supported. Yes, they should be at no cost. Or how about reduced costs? You know, here in Myanmar, when I want to go to a museum or a cultural site, they charge me $10 too. But a local gets in for 25 cents. Anyway, and then this part here is unclear because you don't say they should be made. Well, of course. How should we get people to go to these places? We should force them to. That's not good support. And then, okay, so task response could be a 7, but I don't know. It could be 6 as well. And this is mechanical I don't know how they view that these days, but I guarantee you, out of 100 essays, 25 of them are going to have this exact same pattern. And that's not good for you. Lexical, very good. Grammar, overuse of the passive. Overuse of the passive. When you put it this way, they want to see a variety of structures, but don't think that using the passive is going to add up and add up. No, once you've shown you know how to use a grammar structure and you've done it successfully, doing it again doesn't help you. You need to do something else. So those are my advice and more. Visit me at IELTStemple.blogspot.com. No commercials, no advertisements, lots of fun things to find hidden away in the corners. All right, Precious. It's been precious helping you.